What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
We have
Dangerous times, don't fly too high.
saw a little bit of there.
Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world and keep the sky in your mind.
As always, everything we discuss is for entertainment and is speculation. Please like and subscribe, and definitely join our discussion in the comments. If you're ready, let's get into it. Welcome back to Typically Unique. I'm Kim Aponte, and I'm here with my husband, Carlos, tonight for a live.
Hello. Today's an exciting day.
We did it. We're here to celebrate our 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
It's been a long road for us, so we are very appreciative and wanted to share that with everybody.
Exactly. And I think today may be a good time to kind of go back a little bit as we go forward and talk about what got us to this point.
Yeah, it's been a journey, but I am like so emotional right now because Kim Kitty and CJ are the first two to show up. I love you guys. You're the best. You're the best.
Yep.
Big shout out to you, CJ. You helped us so much.
Exactly. Actually, we're gonna talk about CJ in a little bit.
We've got you down to make sure we thank you and appreciate you for sure.
Absolutely. But I think what we wanted to do today is in celebration of 1,000 subscribers, and that's awesome. And over the past few months since Kim has retired, she's really put a lot of effort into this. So kudos to Kim. You know, her walk and talks have really taken off. She's been reading a lot of documents in the Brian Koberger case. That's helped taking things off. She's always a fixture amongst other creators, always in the chat, supporting other folks.
I love it.
On YouTube. So very well recognized, very well known name. So that's awesome. So she is carrying the show. I am just kind of the guest that shows up every once in a while, but kudos to you and everything that you do, because that's awesome and really appreciate it.
Thank you, babe. It's fun doing it together, though.
Oh, I love doing it together.
It's fun doing this together for sure.
But let's talk about the how all this got started.
Yes.
So I'll kind of get started, but I think you tell it a lot better. That our journey started in maybe podcasting in a very unconventional way. We had a family member that was ill and was going through a lot of medical problems, to the point where we had spent a couple years living in the hospital with them.
Yeah.
And it was very taxing on them. It was very taxing on our family.
It was life-changing event.
For sure. And during that time, we were two very involved parents. We had a morning session every single day with the hospital staff. A group of people would come along and they would talk about what, services they were going to give our family member during the day. And we would take copious notes. And, when we passed along our shifts to one another, we would talk about everything that they talked about. Here's what you can expect. Here are some of the questions. Here's things that, were going on during so we were very involved in this process, very involved. And we asked a lot of questions. Well, Kim asked a lot of questions. I was just supporting the questions from the background. But we would always get these crazy responses to our questions that seemed to be well thought out, right? We thought these out.
I don't know about that. They were dismissive.
No,
You
our
know?
questions were well thought
Our
out.
questions were well
Yeah.
thought out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the responses.
Not the responses. So an example, let me give one example, maybe give another example. So, again, we had a family member in the hospital and they were reacting very viciously to some medication that they were getting. And I was like, why are we giving this medication if they're reacting this way? Like one of the things Kim always used to say is the treatment shouldn't be worse than the disease.
Yeah, I actually got that from a doctor.
Yeah. And I was like, why is this so, why are they reacting to this so bad? And they were like, oh, I don't know. Everybody's unique. I was like, what? Like, how could they give that response instead of, well, hey, let me go back and take a look and make sure that there's not something that they're allergic to, or, to give a medical answer. It was just very dismissive.
Yeah. And then one time there was like, massive nosebleeds happening. They're like, that's typical. Like, and it like would look like a crime scene in the,
for sure,
to bring it back to true crime at the bathroom. Like, that's typical. So that's where our name came from. Like, I kept a journal the whole time, and I have that whole journal posted on our show page. If you're interested and you want to go in and see, it reads probably like a crazy novel or something, but a horrible experience. But in that journal, when it was over and I went back and looked through, I had literally written down all the times they said typical and unique. And when I finally came to the point where I was like, I want to do a podcast someday, and you tell that part.
Yeah, well, she says she's little. I want to, because there was a lot of typicals and uniques, and it became so much that we would do it. It was a joke between us. Oh, well, that's typical.
It's our inside joke.
Yeah, hey, you didn't take out the garbage this week. Well, honey, that's typical of me, right? Not to take out the garbage on time. Just little things like that. But there was a point where Kim was, in a frustrated but determined way, she was like, one day I'm going to do a podcast, and I not only are we going to talk about some of the things that need to change maybe here in the hospital, but later on when we had, we were reaching out to other services and people to help us out, and we weren't getting a lot of the help that we needed. Kim was like, she's an agent of change, right? She's a doer. She wants to make things better, make things right. She's like, I'm going to do a podcast one day, and the name of that podcast is going to be Typically Unique. So we had this 15, 20 years ago, maybe.
It was a long time
very long
ago,
time.
and I was like, and I'm going to call out all the systems, and this is what I'm going to do. But unfortunately, when you have a loved one that it affects and they're still, I like the way you said it, out walking among us.
Yes.
It's too touchy. It's too touchy. So we could not go into that. We tried, like we told our story, our personal story,
right?
But it took a long time for me to actually even start the show. Like I was very hesitant. That's why we're so like excited.
Right. Well, let's talk about that. Like us actually getting started. So Kim had talked about, literally 15 or so years ago, right? This was something that you had talked about. And this was when podcasting was in its true infancy. Like, you had that vision to do something like that very early on.
I wish I would have back then.
Yeah. Well, who knows where we'd be, but no, I like where we're at today. Yeah. But one of the things was Kim was kind of wanting to be involved in it, but not quite sure how. And a close friend of ours was doing a semi-true podcast.
She's one of our moderators.
Yeah,
Lori,
one of our moderators, Lori.
Hope she'll jump in.
Yep. She was doing a podcast on the suspicious death of Prince. And she had a lot of documents like Kim had.
She had all the documents.
Yeah. And she wanted Kim to come on and because Kim's a school teacher, and said, hey, can you read some of these documents? Maybe we can kind of play out like a court proceeding, someone asking a question, someone answering the question.
Can I interject?
Oh, please. This is your story.
Unlike the Brian Koberger document.
Oh, there we go.
I gotta get this in whenever I can. In the Prince investigation, they gave us the transcripts of all the interviews. So I would play like the investigator, and I would read all the investigator questions, and then Lori would read all the answers. So it was very helpful to have it that way. So, and while I paused you, let me just say hello to, because there's so many important people in here to me. Skull Mackay, hello. You're another big reason for our success. Brooke, our new moderator. She's like our biggest fan right now. Appreciate you. Who else did I miss? I saw Yola. Hello, everybody.
And even though we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, thanks for recognizing.
Skull notice today's color is, it's kind of like a cream white. Like we went with cream white today.
But thanks for noticing. Don't know if everybody kind of knows that about us, but we tried to match outfits. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, where that came from.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little funny story to that. But so I guess picking back up
to the podcast.
Yeah, you were with Lori doing her Prince investigation podcast. And I think it kind of took the veil off of some of the, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a little nervous to get in front of the camera. Am I going to be received? Even though you were second chair in that, but how am I going to be received? Am I going to be nervous? Am I going to speak clearly? And you nailed it. I mean, you really nailed it.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I
thought you two did really good, with that. So that Christmas, I had bought him a complete podcast system, a new computer with extra memory on it and microphones and boards and, all kind of stuff where you could do a podcast. And she opened up her Christmas gift, and I thought it was going to be, wahoo, like, look at this. And it was almost a little bit of appreciation with fear mixed in.
I was like, seriously? And there was two microphones, and I was like, you're going to do it with me. Yay. I'm so excited because,
But I think it led to, I'm going to have to do it now. And I saw that on your face, and I was like, it's okay. We don't have to set this up by New Year's, take your time. It took until April, January, February, March, April for her to actually start pulling things out of the box and setting up.
It did.
The podcast area, which we initially did in the basement. Do we have?
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so embarrassing, but we're doing it for you. This is for entertainment purposes. But I'm going to show you our very first video. It's so embarrassing. Oh my goodness. Wait, I got to do all this share stuff. Hold on.
Take it while you're getting all that set up. I'll continue.
Keep talking.
Yeah. So, at this point, Kim's like, okay, let's do it. We got everything ready. We got it set up. We had no idea what we were doing. No idea. So what you're about to see is us not having any idea what we were doing. So, all right, go ahead.
This banger intro. Hello. Welcome to Typically Unique, our new podcast. I'm Kim Aponte.
And I'm Carlos Aponte.
And we are a married couple. We raised 2 children. We're now empty nesters. We've decided to start a podcast to share our stories, situations we've gone through as a family.
A lot of the stories may have to do with some situations that we had with, our children, them growing up, some health concerns, but, we may talk about almost anything during this podcast, but I think it was important for us to document everything that we kind of went through, some of the trials, tribulations, good times, bad times. And we really think that we can maybe add some context to some things that happen to us and may affect some of you in your lives.
Yes. There was a certain point where things had happened where I knew for sure someday I wanted to do a podcast. So we have some goals with this, and one of them is to shed light on things that happened with us, trying to get help for one of our children in the mental health care system, and huge roadblocks we hit with that. We want to help others who may be dealing with that. All right. Wasn't that just such a wonderful production?
I love the bear background, right? We had nothing on the wall. It was an echo in there, something fierce.
Oh, the echo was horrible. Yeah, we changed that real fast.
Yeah.
Though, but yeah, that's where we started from. And your motto was just do it.
Just
like
do it.
Just do it. We'll just get better over time. So
Yep.
that's what we've tried to do.
Right, exactly. And the other thing was I noticed in that first one we weren't wearing similar tops.
No, that came. You guys want to know how that came? So, only 2 people I think have ever noticed. Was the first. Twizzlestick was the first person that made a comment like, "Do they always match shirts?" And I was like, someone noticed.
Yep.
And then Skull, I think I told you. So now you always ask, because I'll say today's color is blue or whatever today's color is.
That's right.
But yeah, we started doing that on purpose because Carlos would just say, give me 15 minutes and a shirt. And so since he made me pick out the shirts, I was like, I'm going to make us match.
So a little maybe funny side story. We don't get to tell too many funny stories, with the true crime stuff.
Yeah.
So a little funny story. A running joke with me and Kim over the years, many years, has been her family lineage for some reason has produced an enormous amount of twins, right? So when we got married and we became pregnant, Kim's first hope was, I hope we have twins.
Like my my great grandmother had 4 sets of twins. That's crazy.
So she wanted twins, and unfortunately we never had twins. So every time we see twins on TV or we see twins in a commercial or we see twins, I always turn and say, I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry I was not able to help produce twins in your family. So that was number 1. And she always wanted to do the Christmas shirts alike, matching shirts with me, her, the baby, the babies, the animals after. It was crazy. So she has this kind of matching gene in her body. So it's true. I would always say, she's like, hey, I want to prepare for the podcast. I said, I'm ready. Just give me 15 minutes and a shirt. So she would put a shirt out. It would be the same shirt. And that's how we kind of got into that. So
we didn't do a good job tonight, but
it's close.
Whatever.
It's close. But so we morphed into true crime at some point.
So remember, we wanted to do like this personal thing and we just couldn't. And I'm like, well, we love true crime stories and documentaries.
Yes. Should we talk about like why? I mean, I think you kind of explained why we really couldn't stay on the same track.
Yeah, we've done enough.
Okay. That, yeah. So but yes, we both were true crime nuts, and it started early on with just the regular Datelines and things like that, and we're always fascinated. We would sit and watch them together, and those were really cool shows, and we had our opinion on them, and it was we would just talk about them. But it was right around, and it was around COVID time or something, but we were home for a holiday, maybe the 2-week Christmas break, and Making a Murderer came out on Netflix.
Do you guys remember when Making a Murderer first came out? Do you guys remember that? Let us know in the chat.
Yes. And it was riveting because we were mad. We had a visceral reaction to that show.
That's the Stephen Avery case.
Yes. And so much so that, I'm for lack of a better term, traveling salesman. when I
Travel. He's not a traveler.
well,
He does travel.
I travel and I'm in sales, so I just put them together. But I would go on trips, and mostly in the summertime when Kim is off of school, she would travel with me. So I happened to be going up to Wisconsin, and we had a picture. Do you have a picture?
Oh, yes. Tell the story and I'll pull it up.
Yep. So we were traveling to Wisconsin, and I said, "Hey, while I'm up here, how about if we go see the Stephen Avery, Making a Murderer auto yard? I think it's called the Auto Salvage Yard or something like that."
We drove 2 hours out of our way.
It was way out
I
of
know
our way.
a lot of people kind of frown upon like the true crime tourism type thing, but everywhere we go, I'm looking up what happened there. Like, I want to know if there's any like
just to see
popular thing that happened there.
And just to see it. I mean, we're not taking anything away from it or anything like that, but we just want to see some of the things that we've read about or heard about or saw on TV. We want to see it in person. So this is us. Look at us right there at the Avery.
We drove around their lot, like back where their house is. Like, I was like, hurry up, just go. We went really fast. Like, it was a weird, like, it wasn't like going down someone's driveway. It was like a big, huge piece of property that just had like an oval part of it. But right. I mean, this just, we have a history with true crime. Yeah.
So in this particular case, though, when we drove down there, we were driving into the business, right? And their house is on the business lot. So we drove in, we circled around, we went to start to drive out. So we didn't stay in there long. We didn't even get out of the car, and a car was coming down, and we were like, oh my God, we got to get out. She starts freaking out, like, we got to get out of here. So
I'm like, step on it.
So we Bonnie and Clyde out of there. But no, it was, just one of those things that we wanted to see. We saw the rock quarry next to us as we were driving in because we were up a little bit high.
Yep.
So we saw everything kind of associated with the case. And it was just something that we could just talk about. And ultimately, it turned into, we started morphing away from what we called, there was like an intermediate period there where we were doing like real talk. Just kind of
with our podcast.
Yeah, just a potpourri of.
We were trying to sort out, like, if we're not going to be able to tell our story and be on this advocacy journey that we really wanted to do, like, I still wanted to do it. I enjoyed it. And so we played around a little while. So we would just sometimes that's why our tagline is real talk, because some of our episodes sometimes we'll just pick a topic, something maybe a little bit more serious or important to people's lives that we can just, because we debate a lot, right? Yeah. We're a discussion channel, so something we can talk about. So we started with that first.
Yeah. And then during that time, as we were transitioning off of kind of the advocacy into a little bit of real talk, and in that real talk was some true crime. We both were into the Brian Koberger case. We both liked talking real talk, but it wasn't, popular of the day or anything like that. It just wasn't.
And it wasn't doing it for us.
And it wasn't sustainable.
It wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah. And one of the things, maybe a good point where we can shout somebody out at this point, CJ actually asked us to go on his show and talk about the advocacy portion. So here we're like starting to morph away from that a little bit, maybe get into a little bit of true crime. And CJ had saw an episode or two of ours. I think it resonated with him because we were talking about some similar things in that particular podcast. We were guests on his show.
CJ's tribe is my tribe, right? And I'm so happy to see all of you in here. It makes my heart happy. And I wanted to say hello to a few people that have popped in. Caddy Crime Ghoul. Hello. Scarlett. Who have I missed? Bianca. I think I saw Bianca in here. And you see that one?
Oh, my sister.
Yeah. Hey. Hello, Maria. Oh, we love the support, you guys. Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So as we were kind of moving kind of off that, CJ had brought us on. You're right, that was your tribe. That was the people who kind of came over. CJ put our link up there and said, hey, really listen to these guys.
And that was after I discovered the Brian Koberger case, right? The Idaho 4 case, that event, that murder had happened, and started following that. And CJ, I think you were the first person that I found on YouTube, and that's where it all started.
It all started.
That's where it all started. So yeah, it was fun uncovering the case on his channel, and then him having us up got us more used to, because I was not doing lives. I was not going to do a live.
Right. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, it was very nerve-wracking to me to do that. So all these little, all these people that have helped us along the way and helped gain experience and I learned from you guys.
Yeah. And so it's not only CJ, but we went up on 12 gauge one time. I think we spoke with Tommy once. We've become, chat room friends with, folks like Twiz and Jeff,
Twiz was our first guest, I believe.
Yes.
Twiz was a guest on our show. Jeff H, shout out to Jeff H, because he kind of put our name out there too.
And he's on my side
too. And I know he's our one true Gilter fan, because when Carlos isn't around, I just go to town on the they don't have the right person, or they're buffoons, what are they doing track.
And then I think we started watching some other you started watching a lot of other creators that you went into their communities, and talked to, and people would recognize us. And so, it's good that there's that support amongst all of the community, Yep. And I thought that was pretty good. We may continue, like Brian Koberger case is not going to last forever. We can make it last for, a pretty long time. But I think our niche in the Brian Koberger case was, she was a true pro burger, which we don't say that anymore. And I am, a guilter. And even through all the events,
I told him he wasn't allowed to say that anymore.
And I'm still going to say it. But we still are on opposite sides of this case, even with him pleading guilty, that there's still too much out there for, people to say, I believe he's 100% guilty and did this alone or did it at all. And I'm like, how much do you need to be convinced? So we're still on opposite sides of that. We'll probably be on opposite sides of that for a very long time,
until we ever find anything out.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what she says. She says every time. She's like, well, I just haven't seen the receipts, and you show me the receipts and I'll believe. And then she gets a receipt and well, I need another receipt, but
no receipts have been given.
Fair enough.
So yeah, that case has been the case that keeps on giving in so many ways, because there's been so much for all of us to look at and read, and the videos, and now the interviews are coming out and all that stuff, and it's given us the perfect, because you don't think like I do, so it's given us the perfect discussion topic. So yeah, but that is not going to last forever. So like when I'm on myself during the day, I'm starting to introduce a couple of those other cases that I'm interested in. I just brought up the Long Island serial killer case the other day. And if you haven't seen that video, it was interesting to watch the Moscow police presser, the press conference they had after Brian's arrest, and compare the information they gave and the way they gave it with the Long Island serial killer press conference and the information they gave and how they gave it. It was very eye-opening.
So let's talk a little bit more about Wednesdays, because we've teased it a little bit, but what's happening on Wednesdays?
You know how that started? Hi, Mark and Betty. Last winter, I just found like it wasn't like quite a memory, but I was going through my old videos and on Facebook, it gives the dates. No, what is it? October 7th today?
Yeah.
We've got 22 days, you guys. Last year, 22 days from today, we had 5 feet of snow. So when that happened last year, it was so crazy. I started going outside and walking in the snow and just talking. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like I really liked it. So I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this. And that's how I turned it into, I love it in the summertime because it's warm and just walking and talking about different cases.
So I think what we want to focus you in on is Wednesdays, typically around 10 to noon. Kim will go out into the world. So into the wild will Kim go. And she goes to different locations. Sometimes we travel together and she may be in another state or whatever. But Kim will go out into the wild and spend about an hour, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah,
and
minutes.
Just walk and talk and interacts with everybody and has a conversation.
It's so fun.
Yeah. I like watching. I'm at work and I'm like, oh, she's walking and talking. There she is. So I know where she's at.
And right now the leaves are changing colors up here. So I'm trying to decide if it should be this week or next week. I got to watch the weather to go to a place that the leaves are going to be beautiful.
Right. We have a really neat covered bridge in the area. And I know you talked about kind of doing that. Would be very scenic. So, so it's her thoughts, on cases of today, and then a pretty good scenic view as well. So like that you've been doing that. We may also start dabbling in some more real talk. We did some real talk in the past. We talked about, the story of when I ran the Olympic torch and when I, was almost murdered in the Dominican Republic. So we've talked about a few of those things. You can find those. We, during my work, I used to have French interns. So we had probably 15 to 20 over the years that would be, they would stay in their own place, but they were always here at our house and we would always entertain them.
You guys, it was so cool. So his work, imagine this. These kids are like 18 to 21, 22, like how old? 20?
Yeah, 20 to 22.
20s,
yeah.
20 to 22. Their employer has a house for them to stay in across the street from where they work. They're in another country. They're in the United States. They can't wait to like explore. They're here to learn the culture and everything. At one point, there was probably like 8 to 10 of them living in this house together, girls and guys. And Carlos's job was to teach them how to drive. Right? I mean, not the only job. Not the only job. But I mean, part of their experience being here at work, you did work stuff.
Yes.
But he had to teach them the driving part and then host them. And I was freaked out about that at first. Like, oh my gosh, these young adults are coming to our house, and our kids were little back then. And these were just like great big kids, and they would be over our house all the time. I'd cook them dinner, and they got really close with our kids. And we even had them go trick-or-treating with us one year.
Which they didn't have in France.
Yeah, they don't have that there. So they like dressed up and went door to door. And I'm telling everybody they're from France. They don't know. They don't know
what we're doing.
Just give them the candy.
Yep. But no, I was in charge of making sure that they were able to drive American cars so they could, get around.
Oh, not teach
them how to drive, but because we did have a pool, because we had a pool car. But mostly my role was everything at work, and then if I wanted to take time outside of work, we would only speak English. So that part of their coming to America was to better their English language skills. So even though there was a group of 8, if they were all 8 together and they were with me or my family, they had to speak English. They had to speak English to each other. And so that was part of it. So it helped them in that regard too, because they learned the Queen's English and that not, American English. So that was always kind of fun as well. But yeah, we grew very close to them. And then one of the real talks we did was one of the interns, some 20 years later, comes back with his family, his son and his wife.
20 years later, you guys, he's got a wife and a baby, and he still came back to see us.
Yep. So he came back. We had a little guest room for him. They stayed in there. He stayed for a few days.
Yeah. It was
And
so fun.
we told him we did a podcast. So we wanted him to come on the podcast.
He came on the podcast with us,
Yep,
and we did a show.
Yep. And we talked about some old stories. So things like that, maybe some things that are semi-interesting, but nothing is, grand as, true crime. I think that's our bread and butter. And especially you and I disagreeing all the time is, probably pretty entertaining sometimes as well. But we already talked about the
Our shirts.
our
Yeah.
same shirts, but I think maybe now, I don't know, it's up to you. But before we do, I want to shout out
I'll do
to
that on the way out.
okay. I do want to shout out to the people that have not only helped us along the way, but the people who are here today. Some of the people who are mods for us, like Brooke, is a mod for us, and
Skull.
yeah,
Skull's here. Always showing up. Thank you. Offie. Yep. Carly's not in here. I'm gonna yell for her. She's upstairs.
Yep. And Lori, I know Lori has helped us,
Yep.
along the way. And it's always good to have people in the chat kind of, still promoting, what we're doing. And
Well, and we have to give a big shout out to your brother, because he's probably been our biggest fan since the beginning. And he
since
would give
day one.
He would give us critical feedback, like, get rid of that song. It's boring. I don't like that. Or,
That's true.
what was, and he would always say, leave the fights in, leave the fights in. And then if I didn't leave them in, he would make me show him the outtake.
That's true. That's true.
He'd want to see our fights.
Yeah. And we had a few that
Not really fights, but
Yeah.
too passionate
Yeah.
for
yeah,
put
like
online.
one of us turned to tears. I'm sorry to say it was me, but but yeah,
No, it
if I ever got to tears, we had to cut that out. So but I think one of the things that this engagement, with the people that we've interacted with over the past 3+ years now, right? It's been 3 years.
It has been over 3 years,
Yeah.
I believe.
We want to give you a chance. Are there any questions, about us?
What can we answer for
About
you?
the
Yeah.
podcast, about
Yeah.
anything? If you have a question, let's
Jeff said, yes, leave the fights in, makes the popcorn taste better.
my brother agrees wholeheartedly.
Yes,
He
yes.
agrees wholeheartedly.
We got a little more feistier on our last one. But we don't, we
Well,
don't get nasty with each
no.
other. Like our whole thing, we talk respectfully to each other. It's just sometimes it's usually me because I don't know how to make the point that I want to make clearly. So I just get frustrated with myself usually.
Well, yeah, and let's say fights is not, like, we're calling each other names. It's like, don't you see this side
Yeah.
of the fence? Like,
you're
how
not getting it.
yeah, how can you not see this side of the fence? And that's what leads to some of the initial frustration, which leads to us pulling further apart. So instead of us saying, I can see your point, and us coming closer together in the middle, that just drags us further apart, so yeah, it does get intense sometimes, but
Verbal fights,
Yeah.
WWE. Yeah.
But
Any questions
any
out there?
questions, comments?
Oh, it's 12:40 a.m. there. Oh, you are a trooper. We appreciate you, Mark and Betty. Yeah, just keep going. Yep, we're just gonna keep going. Carlos is gonna show some comments. What did that one say? Oh yeah,
I
show
thought
that
that
one.
was nice.
Yeah.
Oop, sorry.
Hold on, we're messing stuff up over here. I
It's on
can
there.
still remember a long drive. Oh, and you found us on the drive, listening to us. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Oh, Skull. Yeah, Skull's always going to be forever my sound check, because he's the first one that shows up, usually like in my walk and talks, and I'll be like, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
which is funny because
He's like, yes, I can hear you.
but I would be at work and sometimes you're muted or whatever, and I would try to type real quick, but I'm at work, so I'm like, I can't be doing this, at the same time. I'm like, yes, we can hear you, or no, you're muted.
Yeah.
So thanks, Cole.
Yep. Yes, definitely merch. We can hear you. We can hear you. That's funny. I don't always see all of you in the same chats at the same time. So if you're in the chat and you're not familiar with like the Evil CJ show, please go over there, check it out, and subscribe to him. And then vice versa with Skull Mackay. Check out his channel. He's got awesome videos on there. We sometimes collaborate, and he collaborates with different people and makes up songs that go with these cases, and they're amazing. And Jeff H has his channel, and Yoli has a channel. So if anybody wants to pin any of those, please do. And if I'm missing anybody, feel free to pin it yourself. We just appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
I don't see any questions. Let's see. Yoli, why do you think BK suddenly took? Yeah, I love having Yoli around because she is an attorney, so she can, works in that field and gives us a lot of good information. Yep. She's got a good channel too.
Well, I'm not a licensed attorney, Mark and Betty, I believe that is, because I would just answer and say because he was guilty.
Oh, what was the question? Let me see.
Why do you think Brian Koberger suddenly took the plea deal? because he was guilty.
Yeah, Carlos gonna say, well, because he's guilty.
Because
and
he's
then he's
guilty.
gonna get mad at me because I make that voice.
Yeah, well, because he's guilty. That's how she.
Nope, we're uncovering it slowly but surely. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if we're uncovering anything, but I mean,
Well, you're reading the docs.
we are reading the docs, and people are putting in FOIA requests and getting their hands on things. And all I've ever said to you since we first started covering the Brian Kober case is this doesn't add up. This doesn't add up. This doesn't match. And that's still happening. That's still happening 2.5 years later. I have done a FOIA request for the medical examiners. I don't want to know anything about the injuries. I don't want pictures of the victims or anything like that. I just want to know what she has to say about cause of death, weapons, matching injuries between victims, all that kind of investigative work that she would have done. So her notes, any legal documents she filed, things like that. I have been given the runaround. Leta told me to ask Moscow, so I asked Moscow, and they told me to ask Leta. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do now. Crazy. What are we saying? Read them out loud.
No, I just put Yoli's answer.
Oh, that's the easy answer. Okay.
And then that's what she said to me.
It is the easy answer. But I mean, a lot of us say, hey, you got to believe him, right? I mean, he said it until I don't know. But I do have to give Truth and Transparency a shout out too. Just because I have followed her for so long and get amazing information from her. But do you know she is currently talking about the Peterson? Why am I drawing a blank on his first
Peterson?
name? Yeah.
Scott Peterson?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The Innocence Project, right, guys? Isn't the Innocence Project
They've
helping
been
him?
involved. They've been
Yeah.
involved.
Well, she got her hands on some of the information of why it's looking like he didn't do it.
So
Yeah.
let me be careful with this statement, and I'm say it with all love and in a positive way. So I hear you listening to Truth and Transparency, and that gives me a lot of information as well. The opposite, so I will listen.
You just take it in through your lens.
No. I would just say I listen to what she says, and you're like, I will hear her say on occasion, can you believe that? How is that possible? And I will say, here's how it's possible.
Mhm.
So I will have my own, rebuttal to it. So when Kim and I are sitting here and we're having some of the same discussion, I could be like, well, I understand that may be a question, and you say things don't necessarily always add up. Well, here, let me help put the numbers together a little bit, right? So
You do try to explain things,
Yeah.
but there haven't been too many that there have been a few, but there's not been many that I'm like, okay, yeah, you explained it for me. It just hasn't been that way.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna read some more comments here. Someone's dropping some links. What does Skull say? Oh, you're taking notes. Good. And you're posting links. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Well, I think we're
Yes,
gonna wrap
yes,
this
Scarlett,
up.
we are married.
Great question.
Yeah, we've been married for not exactly. So we've been married since 97, so 29 years, right? 29 and not a half yet. But we're
Not
coming up
quite.
on 30. We're coming up on 30 years. So
Next July.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just had 29.
Yep, just had 29 years. So yes, married couple.
We've known each other since
I was just gonna say
we
that.
knew of each other since elementary school, but he's older than me. So yeah, dated in high school, like super close in high school, both athletes, both went away to college. He's older than me. He left me in the dust, but then we both ended up back in our hometown and met up. He actually threw one of our moderator, Lori. So when you guys see Lori, he worked with her and asked her like, hey, is Kim still in town? And got the number of where I worked. She wouldn't give him my personal phone number. She's my DB. She's my good friend. And she's like, I'm not giving you her number, but I guess I'll tell you where she works, that kind of a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and we went out on a date and we've been together ever since.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind since. The good thing is that we just knew each other from our hometown, and I was a senior, she was a freshman, and we both had 7th period free, which in our school was the last period of the day. So we spent a lot of time just talking.
Yeah, we just got to hang out.
Just got to hang out and talk, and I got to know her. She got to know me, and I went away to school, and then she went away to school.
But we used to do this thing called mail, and we would write letters. Actual letters where you put a stamp on them and mail them back and forth to each other.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. Children. That's what we did back in the day.
That's right. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. We wrote notes back and forth, and I knew where she ended up going to school. She knew where I went to school. We ended up both back in Ashtabula at some point, and just serendipitously saw one of her best childhood friends. And
Skull says, did we own pagers? Carlos had like one of the very first car phones.
I
Tell
did.
them what that was like.
Yeah, I did. I had.
It was like this big.
Yeah, I had just come back from overseas, and I was living in Cleveland at the time, and when I came back, I played basketball overseas for a little bit, and I came back, and this group in Orange High School had a rec league, and they wanted me on their team. They're like, oh, this
for
guy,
basketball.
yeah, this guy came back from overseas, and he's about, and the team was called Cellular One, I believe, was the name of the team. And the guy said, hey, do you want to play? I said, I'm a little burned out. I've been playing since I was a senior, and then I went to this all-star. I'd been playing for months and months and months. I said, I'm kind of burned out. And he's like, I'll give you a car phone, if you play on the team. So I did. I got a car phone. The crazy thing was I made 2 calls on that phone, and it probably cost me $50. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. So
How did you charge it back then?
it was just to the battery of the car. It was literally
Like the lighter, like the cigarette lighter?
no,
thing
it was
back then?
hooked to the
Oh,
battery.
to the battery
Yeah.
of the car.
And the car phone was like mounted on just like the middle section where the drive shaft used to go. I don't know if you know what that terminology
and
drive
then
shaft
did
means.
it have an antenna you had to pull out?
No, the antenna was out the back window. So they drilled a hole in my back window and this little spirally antenna went out. Yeah. So but they told me, they were like, this place had just opened up. This guy had just started this store, and he goes, yeah, you're like one of my first 50 customers.
Wow.
In the Cleveland area. It was crazy. Yeah. It was way back in the 80s.
Did you have to push the buttons on it, or
It was like a regular
push
house
button?
phone. It was a big phone. It was huge. It was like could you imagine driving with your like landline phone in the car? That's what it was like. It wasn't like a little cell phone. It was crazy.
Skull said, dust your shoulders off. Like I had.
But that's
I
not
had
what I'm most proud of.
Oh, what?
You know what I'm most proud of is me and my brother.
Oh, the email.
Yeah. My email is literally my last name, not my last name plus, a letter or a number, or, it is literally just my last name, because me and my brother were the very first two people that signed up for internet in
our town.
In our town. So I mean, I think he went with something crazy, for his email. I said, I just want a Ponte. And that's, yeah. Still to this day, I have it because we were like the first two people to sign up.
And people will notice it every once in a while. They're like, wow, you were the first person, huh? Like,
I was like, yes, I was.
His name, that's crazy.
Actually, I'm proud of that. I'm still proud of that.
Yeah.
Someone just brought it up the other day, didn't they?
Someone said that's a flex. Yeah, someone literally just said it the other day.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good question. At any moment, did you guys want to quit and think this is not for us?
You can answer that.
I would be the one that would feel that way. And it's just because, I don't know, I always have high expectations, and I want to do things fast, and we were trying to do this together. And sometimes I would get frustrated with maybe how our messages were coming out, or I don't know. I just sometimes would second guess things, but
okay, that's
he would talk me out of it.
So that was a very nice political answer. So I'm going to tell you all the truth. Lean in. She quits every other podcast.
That is not true.
She's like, I'm done with this. I'm done with you. I don't like your position. I don't like the way you're saying it. As a matter of fact, I think someone in the chat says you're being a little too mean to me, and I agree with them. We're going to lean in. We're going to do some real talk here today. But
have my back, you guys.
But the funny thing is, she will take the episode. She'll sit down in front of the computer. She'll watch the thing. She goes, you know what? That wasn't that bad.
Oh,
that was a good episode.
When we're doing a recording, I will be like, this is horrible. This is just going to be awful. I'm going to have to do so much editing to this. Oh my God. And then I'll get off. And as I'm doing the editing, I'm like, oh, not that bad. Okay. So I don't know. It's all our, weird thoughts and we have and stuff.
And we have, you can't see them, but we have buttons all over us, right? We've been married, almost 30 years. And there's buttons all over us. And if either one of us get backed into a corner like a honey badger, we're gonna poke a button, and on occasion a button gets poked, and our feelings get hurt, or we get triggered in some way, and we're like, all right, I ain't doing this anymore.
Marriage isn't easy, you guys. Not easy. It's wonderful. It's not easy.
Yeah.
We have an episode about that too.
Oh, we do.
We have shared, like, if you really want to get to know us, we have really shared some personal stuff on some of our old episodes. Our older episodes I use like orange colors on our covers. So if you go back, you can see them.
Yeah.
Skull, he was 3 when we got married. Ouch. 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 Well, and I haven't rage quit alive yet, though. He
No.
quits every other week.
Oh.
I have not rage quit alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just commenting on our. Yeah, those are some good questions, you guys.
No. The free trial CD. I'm sorry, I'm just reading the some of the comments. But yeah, any other questions? If not,
Yeah,
What-
buttons galore. That's another t-shirt. Buttons galore. Yeah. That's a good one.
mhm.
Carlos, poke a button. I'm gonna remember that for me and my other half. Yeah. Don't poke my buttons.
No.
Don't.
Unfortunately, we both have them. We have a bunch of buttons, and we know where they're at. So if we needed to go there, we go there. But I say this too, and we're real talking, aren't we? It's okay. All right. She's better at it than me, though. Like, I mean, she can really, like, if she needed to dig down and give them a good zinger, she's better at the zingers. I try to be good at them, but I'm not that good. She's really.
I don't know. I grew up different, I think. I don't know.
she can zinger, man. I'm like, wow, that was a good one.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's our other saying. I was in one of my lives I was doing last week, and something happened, and I said we were wrecked or something like that. I forget the context that I said it in, but that was a good one. That was a good one. He was wrecked or something like that. That was a good one. All right, you guys, we're gonna wrap this up, and oh my gosh,
Appreciate you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you.
can't say it more than enough. AR Hayes, hello. Thank you so much. You are another one that has been super supportive of us. We appreciate you. You guys go. I know most of you are already over on a Convict's Thoughts with AR Hayes. Go on over there. Drop his link too. Yep. Keep on doing what we do. Thanks, Jeff. Yep. Thank you, everybody. All right. Well, on we go. And I'm trying to get more. We are trying to get more of a schedule. Our videos that we do together that are pre-recorded, we're able to do those about once a week where we're having a discussion. I have been trying to do something every day. So dropping some shorts every Wednesday. I go live for my walk. I've been reading the documents very slowly, but uninterrupted. So you can plug in your ear pods and listen to the docs, if you want with that. So yeah, just be looking for more of that coming out.
Put that Avery picture up there one more time. I just was kind of looking at that in the background, and I look young. Look at that. Look at my hair.
Us, you guys.
Look at my hair. I actually had hair.
That's probably, look how red mine was.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And
that's classy and sassy mode right there. That's that red hair right there.
yeah, I had it red back then. That was funny. Look at Carlos.
Yeah, I had some hair. Shoot.
Yeah, we were young once.
All right.
All right, we're going to say goodbye. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you back here on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. That could be unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like